How are you guys doing? I somehow lost where I was. All right.
Great way to start. Awesome.
Get ready for it. I was trying to pull something up over here so I could see the YouTube when stuff comes in. Yeah, I brought it up over here so everyone was missing. Hi guys. Welcome to this special Sunday night for Delta 17. I'm having Steve from Delta 17 and Toy Connections, who, if you don't know, which would be hard not to know, is also part of Delta 17. It is a 1/18 scale, so 3.75 O-ring figure, although they do have one 4-inch figure that Ken forgot to tell me about. So when I did the review, I didn't realize it.
It's two 4-inch figures. So yeah, you're right. I didn't tell you there was a 4-inch figure because there were two. So yeah.
Yes, but I
withheld information.
Yeah.
And
dare you.
To start off, I just want to say I love that because all O-rings are the exact same height, just to give one that's a little bit taller or two, or giving another buck. But anyway, thank you guys for joining me. How are you guys doing on this? Well, it's pouring here now in Michigan, so.
Oh, it's beautiful over here, dude.
It's pouring here in Vancouver.
Really?
Yeah, it's pouring here as well. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Steve, where are you from? Do you mind me asking where you're from?
Well, I was in BC there on the island, and then we moved to Manitoba. So we're right along the border pretty much, just 7 minutes away from the border in a small town. And I'm broadcasting live from a shop that was rebuilt out of old barnwood, like 100-year-old barnwood. So it's a 3-story barn with floor heating and gas and all sorts of stuff. So it's all modern, but it looks super cool and old. It's huge.
So I assume that is your factory warehouse then?
Well, we use it as a part of our warehouse. Yeah, the rest of our stuff is in New Jersey.
Oh, New Jersey. So that makes it pretty easy to ship it, I guess.
Yep.
So let's get into some stuff here. Do you guys mind just kind of telling everyone a little bit of what Delta 17 actually is?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so Delta 17, the good guys, right? This is a clandestine black ops kind of special operations team assembled from around the world. They are uber hush hush. So they are not on any record books or anything like that. They're secretly financed. Only a handful of patriotic generals and the president himself knows about them, because the main issue is that the governments of the world, not just the United States, but have been infiltrated. So the enemies of the United States and other Western countries realized that they wouldn't be able to invade and take them on head on, right? I mean, you can't go head on against 100 Apaches and 200 F-22s and all that other stuff. It's not going to work. So the best way to do it is to insert Manchurian candidates all over the place. So infiltration instead of invasion. So subversion. So Delta 17 is a force that works internationally with international people on the team as well to uproot and destroy the weaponized arm of the dark state, is what we call it. So this cabal that is seeking to, and already has in many ways, taken over the world. So Cobra was always trying to take over the world. In our plot, in our lore, the bad guys have already taken over. They're just maintaining, and they're just picking up new things. If they're stealing tech, they're just adding to what they already have.
So what are the bad guy factions?
So we got two factions. So the guy that is head of it all is Shadow Dragon. So he's with the dark shadows. He's the cool looking samurai dude with the cape, which can be removed if you're not a cape person. You just put the rear shoulder armor on again, no cape. He looks pretty cool.
I've had some questions about that. So yeah, I'm like, yes, the back armor plate does come off.
Yeah. So it just pops right off. You put it back on if you want, take the cape off, or you have him with the cape. It's up to you. So, and he hires out Retrograd, which is a bunch of disgruntled Russian special forces that operate underneath the direction of Death Sparrow. So Death Sparrow is their leader, and she picks up soldiers from all across what is known as Spetsnaz, which is just sort of a general term for special forces in Russia. They get them from different, ex-Soviet states like Georgia or whatever, the Czech Republic, etc. They're all offered better pay and better food and of course, glorious violence.
Mm-hmm. So the way that kind of sets up, right? Like Cobra way back in the day, even though we didn't always differentiate things, right? They hired the twins with Extensive Enterprises. They hired Destro with Mars Industries. They hired the Dreadnoks as a biker gang. We all kind of just, as kids, called them all as Cobra, right?
Yeah.
So here's a question. Are these meant to live in the world with G.I. Joe, or do you have it set up to be a completely separate universe?
It will be its own universe. Yeah. I mean, that's why we're launching the comic book. We're coming out with Wave 2 vehicles, etc. But if you want to plug them in at wherever you want to plug them in, you go right ahead. I mean, our guys are based not in the 80s or the 90s. We're basically working from 2015 and up.
Okay.
So we're sort of in modern times, tackling semi-modern events. Some are fictional, and glorious violence. Yes, Largo, you got that right.
Jim. Shout out to Largo and Wilhelm for always doing the 1A team for us.
Yeah, appreciate it.
They've done a wonder. I almost want to create a toy company just so Largo can do a little video, because he has such good ones for everyone that he does.
Yeah, I just stopped making Delta 17 videos. It's like, see Largo's layer in the description. Let's do it that way going forward.
So where does the name Delta 17 come from?
Okay, so Delta is a word that is heavily associated with special forces. So whether it's Delta Force, and even outside of Delta Force, you can be considered a Delta tier operator. So it's sort of a common term that is used in the military, Delta tier. So that would be tier 1 operators, whether or not they're SAS or different groups like that. 17, that denotes the highest level of security clearance that's available in the U.S. government, U.S. military combined. So the 17th level of security clearance is known as Q level clearance. And if you have Q level clearance, you can see everything, what happened to JFK, et cetera, et cetera. So you can go anywhere, see anything.
And Q is the 17th letter of the alphabet.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that is something I would have never known. I find that type of stuff very interesting, and I love the fact that you have an actual reason for it. I think a lot of people, they just, maybe they take names of old brands, or they don't really have a reason for it.
Right. Sounds cool or whatever.
Yeah. When someone asks them the question, they seem to be on the fence, trying to scramble to figure out an answer. But I mean, if you just came up with that answer right off the top of your head, then you're way, way smarter than I am. And you're way smarter than me anyway. But
all right, enough of that. Let's not lie to your public here.
All right. So how did this all come about? Like, how did you come about deciding to do this toy line?
Okay, well, I was about to purchase a different O-ring line off of a fellow, and it was sort of a repaint line. And while I was doing that, I spent a couple of months doing different teams and themes, different color schemes, different stuff like that. And then as I was working on, recoloring this guy that way and doing everyone Tiger Force in a different way and etc., I started to really make new figures. And I was like, if I buy this line, my big goal is to make new figures. That would be the thing. And then so that deal fell through, which ended up being okay. It fell through, and then I spent about a week going, now what? And it was like, well, I wanted to make new figures. I wonder if that's even possible. I didn't know anything about making toys, anything, right? But I knew about one or two things that I could do that if I did them, I would probably learn one or two more things that I could do. So I just kept on going like that, asking lots of people really, really stupid questions and just bumping around. hiring people and then letting, whatever. It was the first year was a bit, wasn't squeaky clean. It was a bit tough, trying to figure out where to go, who to talk to, who to get to sculpt these things. And then we bumped into Tommy Hodges, sculpting extraordinaire. He's the sculpting manager of Mondo now. So all of this Motu stuff that's coming out, that's just like, holy cow, it's beautiful, right? I'm not a Mondo or a Motu guy at all. And I almost pull out my credit card for everything that I see, whether it's $300, $500, I don't care, because it's beautiful. It's really, really well done. So he did 9 of our 11 figures. Like we're selling 12 figures, but one is a repaint with a different, ethnicity, right? So we have 11 sculpts. He did 9 of them. Jesse Sanford did the other 2. He's great as well. And then Ken found us a production manager, a product design manager, whatever you want to call it, to hook us up.
He just goes by project manager. He has like multiple titles across multiple things. So I'm like, I'm just gonna call you project manager. He's like, yeah, just run with it. It's enough of an all-encompassing term. Because I tried calling him production manager. He goes, but I handle more than production. Okay, project manager. Let's just go.
Yeah,
let's go.
Yeah. Why not? Yeah.
All right.
I swear I've got some.
So you have discussed a little bit.
You're good.
It's just gray. It's just a bunch of gray getting together. It makes it look like I got a piece of chicken in my beard. Okay, go on.
I have one side that is more white than the other, so it looks like I don't know how to shave half the time.
It's awesome.
I already don't get enough as it is.
Still didn't notice. So
So you discussed a little bit about your lore and your storyline. Jason Keane asked this question: how much does the lore tie in with current geopolitics?
Oh boy. Okay. Well,
does it at all?
Okay, that's where I want to stay. I want to kind of go like, it ties in, unfortunately, too much, but that is not really.
Okay, I'll step in for a second.
Was it meant?
It's a good inspiration, and depending on who you listen to, and who your influences are as far as what's going on in the world right now, it either ties in a lot or it's just a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo. But it just so happens that it fits in well and makes a good story. So how true it is, I don't know. You could make up an autobiography and the history of Lawrence from a punk with toys based on a bunch of gossip you hear. How close you get to the actual autobiography, I don't know. But of course, in our case, we weren't trying to make the autobiography of that. We used it to platform something we thought was entertaining. Does that make sense, Steve?
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, whether or not it's true, eventually we'll find out. In the meantime, it's great lore, and it's definitely entertaining.
There we go.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to sum it up. Whatever you want to believe is entirely up to you. I don't want to sit here and be like, we never went to the moon, blah, 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 all that stuff. It's like, when someone starts to talk like that, it's like, okay, bye-bye,
So you're saying it's more of a happy accident than anything?
Some aspects.
we're having fun. We're having fun with possibilities. We're having fun with, we're making a world out of, it's sort of a what if, kind of a Marvel what if, and whether or not this is based on reality or fiction, I guess if it is reality, at some point we will see it. I don't know. We'll leave it at that.
Graf wants to know if Delta 17 is loosely based on the story of Bret the Hitman Hart.
I'll let Ken handle that one.
Do you have a figure that is tapping out?
So depending on the lore you believe, either he was screwed or he screwed himself over, or he tapped or he didn't, depending on the video evidence you follow and the position of the camera in the ring. You saw it tap, I didn't. So depending on that lore you follow and depending on how much that ties in with your version of the real world, see how that all went full circle? It took 15 minutes before me and Lawrence got wrestling.
This question? Yeah. If one had to be HBK and one had to be Bret Hart in your figures, which ones would each be?
Sean, which one's Sean? Which one's Bret? Oh my!
Yeah. Do you have some long-haired pretty boy?
The Delta infantry under the helmets. Underneath
Yeah.
the helmets, one's Brett, one's Sean.
There we go. Super long hair all curled up in the helmet. Yeah.
There we go.
All right, so you did touch on the fact that there's two bad guy factions.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Is there more to it? Just going down, having two different factions. Again, I like that because even in world wars, there were multiple bad people
Yep.
and there were multiple good people. And then there were
Right.
some people that tried to be good when really they weren't, and they take credit for everything. Russia.
Yeah.
Is there any conflict between the two bad factions? I guess is.
Oh, I don't know. Will there be? Is there? I don't know. That's hard to say. I mean, okay, so Shadow Dragon, he's got his one main guy here, Jaguar. Jaguar doesn't say anything, never takes his face mask off, never takes his goggles off. He has a little sort of what do you call that? Telegraph device, as well as a communication device with which he controls the Okami. So anyways, Shadow Dragon, the main point is he runs his Okamis. He's more of a technological dude. So this Okami robotic thing, you're going to see a bit more of that in the future. Whereas Retrograde, they're a bunch of meat missiles that run at you with bullets. They're the feet on the ground, the real brains. So Shadow Dragon is enjoying the fact that he can actually have humans that he just has to pay for, that he doesn't have to recruit. But we'll see both factions beef up in Wave 2 with some interesting new characters and new army builders as well. So
I guess I mean you discussed earlier where back in A Real American Hero you had Cobra as the bad guy, but then you had like Sense of Enterprises, you had Dreadnoughts, everything kind of fell under the umbrella. I would say probably till the Iron Grenadiers came along, where that's when you saw Destro and them trying to do like another faction, or with He-Man with Skeletor, and then the Horde came along. You're trying to separate right off the bat. Like, hey, there's already two bad factions, and each of them would love to take over their own stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean no, I won't say anything else.
Hey,
I'd leave it. I'd cap it at that. We got a whole comic to write, and everything's going to come out in due time.
If you tell everything, then it spoils a lot for people.
Right.
Sony is asking for a Delta shirt 17, not a Delta 17 shirt. Not asking for you to give one, but are you going to have any? Let's say at Joe Fest, would you happen to have any that can be purchased?
No, we've got a bunch of stuff lined up for Joe Fest. We're going to have physical comics to sell. We're going to have 2 different posters. We're going to have the new T-hooks, the Joe Fest exclusive repaint. We're going to have patches like this one. I just decided, T-shirts are a pain in the ass because, first of all the tariff numbers that I have to clear when I cross the border and all that stuff, like they put you through the ringer, and then you have to stock all this stuff when you're done. And then it's like, do I send it to New Jersey to the fulfillment center when people want to add to their orders, blah, blah, blah. It's like, sorry, I'm out of extra large, but I've got tons of 3X, it's
but
a pain
I think we will figure it out at some point. It's just the thing is, last time we had like 20 or 30 custom made, and then those are the ones you and I are wearing now, and like Wilhelm got one, and a few people in the chat got them at Joe Fest. But at some point we will have to circle back to the merchandise. It's just right now all our like manpower, person power is geared towards the comic, the exclusive that's being airshipped over, because no time to get it here by boat. Getting the toy line pumped up, going on streams like this, writing the story. If New Jersey needs more inventory, getting it over there, right?
So
there's just so much.
For Canuck, you're asking about Delta 17 hats. Let's do
That's a patch.
Yeah, so we'll have these with the Velcro backing.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll also have ones that are iron-on. And we'll also have ones that are tactical colors. So it'll just be, I did it sideways.
Steve, I was about to give you hell for not giving me a hat until I realized you gave me a patch and it's me that doesn't have a hat.
Yeah, you just gotta go buy one. No problem. Okay, so Gaz here is saying, what happens when the money runs dry for the dark shadows and retrograde?
Ooh.
The money will not run dry because it's hard to explain. Let me ask you, do you know where your tax dollars go?
There we go. I knew that was coming.
Do you really know?
Okay. To schools and roads and
yeah.
They ain't go to my road.
Trees,
No,
and
they don't go to mine either. They certainly don't go to my healthcare, my military, anything. Sorry, go on.
So
thanks, Wraith.
So quickly here, where is it at? I'm still working on this.
Welcome to the creamery. Welcome to the creamery.
Oh wait, I don't know if anyone heard it. That is my new when I get a new channel member.
Welcome to the creamery.
I was wondering what the heck.
That is my daughter.
Nice.
Because people say I'm milking people if I have it. So anyway, thank you, Wraith Maze, for the donation. And Jay Solo Arts got that. So thank you very much. And I'm completely lost my train of thought here. James Lucas did ask any sneak peek at the exclusive.
Friday.
I think that will be Friday, correct? On where are you going to be? Where will you be promoting it?
Oh, apparently on my channel.
Okay. Well, no, I mean, like, does Delta 17 have anything? Like, do you guys have your own website? I know you have your own website, your own YouTube channel.
No.
Other than just being Steve's.
Yeah, no, yeah. I'm too busy already. I don't want to start doing new stuff. It's crazy.
So Jeff Morris is asking, are you going to be at both Joe Fast and DFW?
No.
All right.
I'm not SpongeBob. I can't split down the middle.
So I do have a mention on the on like the shirts and stuff. Have you thought about reaching out to like the company that I use? It's just it's not a YouTube company, but they work with YouTube. There's a few
like T Public or something like that.
Stream Elements that Oz uses,
Yeah, I use I forget what it is, but I don't have to keep any product. So if you want to buy a shirt, you buy a shirt. They ship it out. I get a percentage of it. I know most people that have a company, they don't really want to do that
because you can't ship it from the same location. That's the tricky part, right? If you do it that way, because then you can't ship it from the same location as your toys, right? Ideally, you'd want to ship everything in one.
Well, I just assume that if you have a company, you want to be producing the shirts and shipping them out. But if it's something where you wanted people to have shirts and maybe get in there before Viper Island steals it and puts it up as his own logo.
All right, enough of that crap.
I couldn't keep a straight face.
He's done it before, though. I mean, he did it to Super 7. Oh yeah, he took Super 7's USS Flag shirt, got rid of the Super 7 logo and put his own logo on it.
No.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. That's enough.
That's the only reason why I say that.
All right. Now I see what you're talking
about. So
I see that.
King asks, I presume Delta 17 figures are Kit Bash customs and not original molds yet.
They're original. They're 100%
original molds. We got thousands of them out there.
Yep.
So I am a little confused with this question because I don't know how would they be Kit Bash customs? I mean, they are all original. I think everyone.
I think there's some confusion there with like what Black Major and formerly Red Laser were doing, because those are like reverse engineer the molds to kind of Kit Bash custom something in a different color. I'm thinking that's anyway. I'm speculating based on the comments, but anyway.
Okay, so speaking of the figures,
yes,
let's talk about the T-bar that had issues with. So I know when I did the review, Ken had told me before that some of the figures had an issue doing a complete L when sitting down.
Right.
And again, it makes it impossible for them to sit, let's say, in the vent properly because you check them from the side, it sticks up. Ken had come back and not come back like in a bad way, but was like, well, we've tried switching things around. And then I know, did a video or we're on a couple live streams and you talked about the T-bar. and that
Right.
they had designed something different, something wrong, or it was too thick. Could you talk about that and how people that already have Delta 17 can get these?
Yeah, okay. So we designed a new T-bar. We got thousands coming in time for Joe Fest. So I should be bringing thousands of T-bars with me. So if anybody's bought some Delta, like you'll see the one on the whatever side that is. This is our old one. This is the new one that's sitting horizontal. I don't know if you can see, but the old one that's kind of straight up and down is a lot thicker.
Yep.
The new one that's horizontal is a lot thinner. So there was just a slight difference there in their thickness. And this is one guy that I've taken and I've put the new T-bar in him. So he used to be a pain in the butt. Now he's perfect. So
And that's
these,
one of the figures I had.
yeah. So
Okay.
these T-bars are great. They're really great. So we'll be mailing them out for free for everyone in North America. That's you know, we can see that actually made an order. It's not going to be just, you know, some guy online who's like, oh, I want some T-bars, you know, but you gotta give me your name. I gotta be able to look up your order and be like, yeah, okay, you're legit. For people in Europe, I guess I don't know what I'm going to do. That's going to be expensive to send them out, but I guess I kind of have to. Yeah.
What, so, hey, Largo, are you guys going to Joe Fest? I'm just wondering if you guys are
Nice.
going to Joe Fest. Because I would love to meet you and
Wilhelm
No.
will be going to Joe Fest. He'll be working
Yeah.
the booth with us actually. So
Yeah.
yeah, Largo I don't think is coming as of. I haven't
didn't-
asked him in a couple months, but as of
I didn't get
January, he
invited
wasn't
to
coming.
ask to work the booth. And I
Well,
would have said no.
That's
like-
very kind of you.
It's like I bring up the people. I'm like, why do you have so many moderators? You know, and Ken actually gave me a good reason to have so many moderators when you don't go live consistently. And one of the first things I say is, I'm not asking to be one. That's the last thing I want.
Yeah.
I've been in like Facebook group chats where everyone wants to be an admin or a mod, and I'm like, why? We have 100 people here, and right now there's 23 admins or mods. Why?
Yeah, right. Okay, we got a question here from the Canuck. Will the figures at Joe Fest have the new T-bar already installed? If you're buying one of these guys that's packaged up, no. If you're buying our new exclusive repaint Joe Fest special, yes. So if
we'll be able to hand them out to them at Joe Fest as well, right?
yeah, we will.
I think Canadian orders, because you're packing those directly, you can include T-bars in. Like
Yeah.
Impossible Pie asked me about that, and I'm like, well, I'm sure. Like he actually messaged. He was talking to me, then he messaged the Delta Facebook, not realizing that I was monitoring it that morning. So he's like, "Is that you, Ken?" I'm like, "Yeah." In your case, you could just ask me directly, but yes. So.
Yeah, right.
So all the figures that you have, they were already produced with this T-bar.
Yep.
They didn't redo them or anything. So anyone that orders anything now, they'll have the T-bar put in it.
Yeah.
part of the order.
Anything going forward. Like the thing is with the T-bars, we're not having 100% problem. I'd say it's about, I don't know. It's like the feedback we're getting, like one guy, he ordered like 12 and he's like, I only had 2 that had issues. I tested them all out. So it's between, I'd say at the highest, it's about a 30% issue with the T-bars. So if someone comes by and they buy 12 figures, I'm not going to give them 12 T-bars. It's like, sorry, you know, I'll give you maybe 8, something like that.
I don't, because I only bought 3 figures, and I think there was only 1, maybe 2 of them had the issue. And of course, the one that did have the issue that I was trying to put in some of the vehicles was the 4-inch, and there was one person that got really upset with me about it.
Yeah.
Jeff says I used some of my replacement Joe T-bars, and it fixed the couple of figures that I had a hard time sitting.
Yeah.
Some of them just sit fine as is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We did a couple of things. Gaz tested it out with a Junker Joe and just replaced it. Wilhelm tried turning the T-bar 180 degrees, and it increases your range of motion. It's not perfect, but it increases it. So
yeah. And again, what I like is I expect there to be issues when it comes to, especially a new product that's coming out. How Hasbro still has issues, and they've been around for how long?
Right.
It's all about how somebody goes about and approaches fixing it.
Yeah.
And I think I've seen you, from what I understand, Savage Crucibles, who has issues with their ankles. Supposedly they're supposed to be setting out new ankles. I haven't heard anything about it. Matthew actually, I think, said something. The Valaverse has had their issues, and I know they've addressed it. They've taken care of some.
Mm-hmm.
Super 7 does not take care of any of their stuff, and they've been around for quite some time.
Right.
So to me, I have no issues with a new company or any company having problems. It's all about how they approach it and how they rectify the problem.
Yeah, like okay, I am a perfectionist. I really, at the end of the day, I am selling a product. I don't care how much I love it. And hey guys, I have 4 kids. I worked really hard on this. So like, could you like just give me all your money and just stop with the criticism? No, this is a product. Okay. And I'm a perfectionist. We could have had these things out about 2 months earlier than when they did come out, but I had to stop the presses a couple times because it's like, this head could be a little bit wider. This could be a little bit better. We really have to rectify this inner thigh, et cetera, et cetera. Like there was a point where Ken was thinking, we'll actually never, this is just a pipe dream. We'll actually never get anything made, because it's true. I really want to give people the absolute best. And then you get stuff back from a factory and it's like, yeah, okay. It's fantastic, but it's not bulletproof. It's not 100%,
Yeah, and like I said, things are going to happen, and I'm glad that you feel that way. And that was one of the things when Ken had asked me if I would like to get a couple of the figures or however many figures I wanted to purchase well before anyone else and review them.
Yeah.
And I told some people, I said, if this would have been a really, really crap product, I would have reached out to Ken and said, hey, listen, this thing is trash. Do you really want me to do a review?
Mm-hmm.
There were some issues. You guys saw it, and Ken said that was exactly what we wanted to hear.
Yeah.
I wasn't attacking you.
Well, no,
that would be stupid. And never did I think that the product wasn't good. And it was issues that I felt needed to be brought to light. And there were some people that were mad about it. There were some people mad about my Savage Crucibles talking about the weak ankles. Well, I'm sorry, I'm doing a review. I'm not going to ignore that and hide that this is an issue, right? Because it needs to be addressed.
The more you apologize, the more likely I am to take you off that secret list I have under my pillow. I'm just kidding. No, it's good because it's reality. Okay, like we eventually do want to be bigger dogs in the party. Not that we want to be assholes or anything like that, or shareholders, or like any of that stuff, but we want to offer a superior product. So if there are issues, call a spade, the end, right? If anybody's going to just wander around and kiss my butt, I don't want that, right? That's my wife's job.
See, I know she's not in the house because you didn't look both ways.
Yeah, I know, right? I know, and I hope she's not watching this.
No, again, it all goes back to, just creating a better product and understanding when people do reviews, you shouldn't take it personally, but they shouldn't be getting personal.
Right.
And I liked it. I liked I picked 3 specific figures that had different design points. One being having a dog in the dog bowl. And we need to talk about that. So let's talk about your dog.
Yes. And
it is a puppy, and you've discussed that it won't always be a puppy.
Correct.
Okay.
It already has a name.
We were going to talk about that.
No.
I'm just saying, sometimes the people in my chat feel you should have a specific name for a dog. I personally think it should be it should look something like this.
Okay.
This color in a pit bull, and maybe have the name Roman. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there.
The chat's gonna love it.
It's 2 words put together.
Mm-hmm.
2 words put together.
Yeah.
Flashbang. Really?
You got her.
Holy shit!
That's a very recent development too. Like
Oh,
that
yeah.
dog did not have a name a few months ago.
But can I just say something? Somebody just went off on me because
Yeah.
I called something on a review of the Gridiron loadout. It had a flashbang in there,
Right.
and I referred to it as a grenade. And the guy, all in caps, yelled at
Oh
me.
no. Yeah.
So-
no.
So on my mean comments on membership, I read it. I and if it's in all in caps, I read it while yelling.
Yeah.
It scared the shit out of my kids. Yeah, I know. But then I read what Wikipedia, and guess what? A flashbang is? It's a grenade
Yeah, for
or
sure.
a stun grenade. So either way, I was correct, and
Yeah. You
That is
win
awesome.
again. Yeah.
I just threw that out there. But that is actually a pretty cool name. Flashbang, something different for sure.
It reflects the personality of the dog a bit.
Yeah, I feel like most of the animals get named after. They don't really get named after anything military.
Mhm.
Right.
When I think of GI
Freedom and Junkyard and yeah, but that name is a very very recent development.
Wow.
Yeah.
We have another dog.
And honestly, I had no idea. The only reason why I said that was because of the comment from last week.
Nice. Nice.
But I'm just saying, if you decide to put a pit bull in there, you might want to go with the name Roman. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Someone's asking if the puppy's going to be in the next wave. The puppy will age and change, as well as the owner will age and change, but that will not be in the next wave. I don't think wave 2 people want to be like, oh yeah, a recolor. Wave 2, we're going to have. We're going to try for all new. Okay, let's put it this way. Wave 1 was 12 figures, really 11 with 1 repaint. Okay. Wave 2, we're going to have minimum 12 figures that are all brand new. If there's anything beyond that, we might have some repaints, but it's, whether or not you want to buy them, that's up to you. Whether or not they're appealing and powerful enough, we'll see.
So I will say this. So one of the reasons why I did buy Leonidas, which had the dog, was I loved how you designed it so you could pop the dog on the backpack. And then it was made to come off. And you also I thought the idea of a little dog bowl was super cool, and it plugs in perfect. You don't have to worry about it falling off because it's tight enough because of the two different plastics that you're using.
Yeah,
and it worked with the G.I. Joe dogs. There was one dog, and I know we talked about it. I forget what the dog's name was. That he's bending over and his head fits perfectly in it, like he's drinking water.
Oh, that was in the 2000s, wasn't it, when they put that one out?
Yeah.
That was at Toys R Us.
Yeah. But I absolutely love what you guys did. I just think it's a nice idea. Just putting those little things in there. And I like the idea of you saying you'll age him up, because if you look at that figure, he really looks like he's just been called to duty. He hasn't even had time to change. So he's in his shorts and everything. Is that kind of the design process of him, or?
No, Leonidas had pants originally.
Okay.
Yeah, he just he doesn't like pants. He's one of these guys that gets hot legs. So he's just one of these guys that gets hot all the time. So he cut his his shirt off, the arms off, and he cuts the pants, the legs off the pants. And like Leo will change over time. Like right now you'll see that there's some spots where he doesn't have tattoos, and will that change? Who knows, right?
Bit of a goofier character on purpose, right?
Yeah, he's goofy to an extent, but once the ish hits the fan, that's when he becomes like greased lightning, and he's the guy you want in the corner. He's the
you'll see that in the comic.
Yeah, he's the ultimate door kicker.
Yes.
And I can definitely see that, because when in the design, when you do look at the legs, they do look like they're beefy. Like he works out. Like you can tell.
Yeah.
And I like that in the design process, that it's not just the same old aesthetic. And I think a lot of the O-rings, I know the original G.I. Joe O-rings were pretty much all the same, but as time went on I know they did a lot of repaints, but was there a lot of kit bashing? There wasn't so much kit bashing with the O-rings. They started doing all new designs. Am I correct?
There was a fair bit of reuse.
Well, I guess the sub teams is where you really got into reuse. But outside of that,
Yeah.
the heads got reused a lot in the first wave in '82.
Yeah,
like
at the
Hawk
beginning,
yeah.
but as like the line grew, I mean, I know they did a lot of repaints, but they pretty much redesigned, the figures.
Yeah,
creating new figures. So,
yeah, they did well on that front for sure.
but that was a different time, right?
Yeah.
We all know that, the toys are made from repaints, but O-rings don't seem to. The O-rings don't seem to be reused nearly as much. Will you guys be reusing a lot of stuff or kit bashing? Or are you looking at doing new sculpts as much as possible?
New sculpts as much as possible. Like it's okay. So for wave 2, we had just about started on wave 2, and it's like, thankfully my sculptor is busy with other stuff because I'm super busy. I'm working minimum 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, getting ready for Joe Fest, and have been for about the last 3 weeks, and will be until Joe Fest. So after Joe Fest, we're going to dig into wave 2 and just start sculpting that up. So for wave 2, I have between 35 to 40 different figures that I'd like to do, but we have a bare minimum of 12 that we're putting out. I would like to do more. We also have, hopefully the Hind will be in time for wave 2, but I don't want to rush the Hind because, this is going to be such a complicated vehicle, and we want it to do a bunch of things. We want the cockpit to open up, you to actually be able to fit the figures in there, no problem, without having to jam them in all weird. We want to be able to have retractable landing gear, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of engineering that's going to go into that, a lot of test shots, a lot of work that'll have to be confirmed whether or not it works. So we don't want to rush that one. It has to be done absolutely properly. So if it's a wave 2.5 or a wave 3 thing, whatever, it's going to be done right. So I'm not going to make any promises on the Hind as to when it comes out. All I can say is we're about a quarter done sculpting, and which is actually a lot because there's a lot of sculpting that goes into a Hind. It's quite a complicated vehicle.
No, the last time I talked to you, you were quarter done sculpting the exterior, but have you started on the interior? I never asked you that.
We had to switch over to another project with that sculptor. So
I know.
no, okay. So if, as far as interior, exterior, and everything else goes, we're probably between a quarter to a fifth done of everything, right? Okay. Is how I kind of look at it. At some point we will be using some of this stuff in different. We'll be using it again. Like, I mean, if you look at the Thunder Battalion, like, he would look great in desert or jungle or whatever. And I think people really want that. If they didn't, I don't want to just keep sticking stuff in front of people like, here, buy this. I want stuff that people really want to buy, right? So there will be some repaints, but we don't want to flood the market with, wave 2 is, guess what? Repaints, haha. No, it'll be at least 12 figures that are brand new. And then we'd like to accentuate that, or whatever English word inserted here, with possibly some repaints that people will hopefully want.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let me ask about the Hind really quick. Now, you said that's going to be your first vehicle, or is that just going to be your first announced vehicle?
Correct. First announced.
Okay. So there's a chance that there would be other vehicles before that comes out.
Yes.
All right. So my question on that is, when you're designing a vehicle, do you take into consideration how well they would work with the original G.I. Joe O-rings, or even maybe some of the newer ones, knowing that there may be people that just collect G.I. Joe but want a new vehicle? Do you take any of that into consideration? I know they're roughly the same scale, but...
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely want every vehicle that we put out to fit the O-ring and the modern 4-inch. Absolutely. I mean, what's the point, right? If you can't do at least that at the minimum. So, and there's also, like, people want us to do, I've had some requests, do a tank or whatever. And there are some things. I mean, when you look at what GI Joe has done, I mean, GI Joe has put out probably, I don't know, like 30 tanks almost. If you count the Havoc and you count the, I'm looking at a whole line of them on my shelves.
Well,
here.
even just
tanks.
the Mauler, the Mobat, and the Armadillo, you've got a whole range there. You've got the Marauder versions of those, right, from '89. Like, there's just so much.
There is a lot. Yeah, the Wolverine, it goes on and on. So as far as tracked vehicles go, they've done a lot. So that would not be on our radar right at the start. Waves, 2, 3, 4. We'll see though. We do have. We'll leave that.
But my thing is, and you touched on something else that I want to now discuss. You touched on just the fact that they will fit with, let's say, the call sign. Well, I guess we don't know what they look like yet.
Right.
But I'm assuming call sign Longbow, Operation Recall, Skeletron has an O-ring figure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You do look at that, but you brought up the modern 4-inch figure. Now, would you think about doing something if you have to have a peg hole in the back where it would also, like, let's say you put in an extra set of seats, if they have a peg hole where it could also use the 4-inch figure?
Nope.
Okay.
No, that I think I will not do. So for the hind troop cargo area, the troop area in the back, I was working on a sort of a insertable plate system where you can have footholes and you can move the plates around. I'm not sure if we're going to have that in the final product. So if we do that, it's possible that we might be able to do 4-inch modern foot pegs, but I definitely do not want to make that a rule. I will make no promises there.
Okay. And then when it comes to the hind and any other vehicle that you do, are you trying to make it go to actual scale? Because we all know, like, the F-14 is not to scale.
Right. No, we're doing toy scale. We're doing toy scale. We're very close. Well, not very close. We're going to be at about 80% scale.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why we put up the poll about whether you're okay with a 2.5 foot hind or a 3 foot hind.
Yeah, because if it was 1/18 true 1/18 scale, nose to tail, not counting the rotors, that would be 3 feet.
All right.
So that's a freaking yardstick, right? That's huge.
It's very large.
Yeah.
That's the Rolling Thunder. It's basically 3 feet.
Yeah, because the Tomahawk is not close to being,
yes,
what a Chinook is.
Yes,
and
that's what everyone's comparable is going to be, is the Tomahawk.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So would it be? Do you know how long you're planning on making it? Or were you making it right now?
2.5, right?
It is 2.5 feet.
I don't think we changed that. I think that's still the plan.
That is huge.
That is big. Yeah. And we'll see how the paint, the deco comes out. We're planning on having a couple of different versions.
So how long is the Sky Striker? Do you know?
Well, I've got one right there. It's about 2 feet max. No, it's not even 2 feet.
So it's going to be much bigger than even a Sky Striker.
Should I show you? Like, I've got a true scale Hornet and I've got a Sky Striker right there. I can grab them and show you.
Sure.
Is one flying over you right now?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, sorry. That's me.
I don't care. I just said we were talking about jets, and it sounds like one's flying over.
I live near the airport. This happened on Mega J's the other night as well. Right.
Oh, really?
So he's like, "Ken, your new mic is really good. Why? I can hear the airplane over your head." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm near the air path."
Patrick Stalker says mini vehicles would even be awesome.
Stay tuned.
All right.
You might wanna go to Joe Fest.
Like, definitely, I'm gonna bring this up here about mechs.
Oh, are we talking like Exo Squad, like that kind of thing? I mean,
so I'll have to ask about this.
yes, we definitely should talk about that.
All right. Now wait till Steve puts his ears back in. I think it's huge.
All right. So this is what happens when you do something true 1/18 scale.
These are big.
That is the Hornet. I don't know if it's all fitting on the screen.
It
I don't
almost
think that fit
is
on a
the
flag.
wing. The wing, yeah. The wings are not quite on screen, but yes, we get the idea.
So that's true 1/18 scale. It's not sustainable,
Yep.
you know, when you're paying for tooling under current prices. So you compare that to a Sky Striker, which is a
My
nice,
God.
comfortable, smaller,
My God.
much
Can the
smaller.
kid can actually play with that?
Yeah, right. Eh? Yeah, can you imagine running around with that? Yeah, in the backyard. Holy cow!
Yeah.
Let alone the F-14 is bigger than that.
Yes.
Yep,
So
exactly.
imagine that the Heinz going to be like, yeah, basically 80% scale, give or take. Still going to
Wow.
be a beefy thing. So
Yeah,
Plus,
it
it's
will
way
be.
bigger than Tomahawk
Yeah.
and
Well,
Dragonfly.
actually, if you take the Tomahawk and if you take the rotors and you extend them as far as they go both ways, it's like really big.
Yeah.
That's my nerd fact of the day.
All right. So Graf brings up mechs. Now I'm gonna go on the record right now. I hate mechs. Mechs fall over. They get loose. I have two 3D printed mechs that someone right above him may be getting on when I drive down to Joe Fest. I do not like mechs. They look nice in some aspects, but as an actual, in my personal opinion, a toy to play with and thinking how it's going to fit with vehicles, I'm just not a fan of them. But Graf is asking with an exclamation mark. I'm assuming he likes them.
Yeah, I love them. I mean,
Exo Squad.
yeah, they're good fun, but I don't know. They've been done a lot. You know, if the thing is, if you put in a mech, then you become a mech toy line. That's it. Like you can't just have one casually because then it's like, well, now the enemies need one, or now the good guys need one. Now it's a mech war, and now you're a mech line, right? That's it.
Yeah. So let's just answer by saying there's not one in the pipeline right now. You know, having said that, who knows in a few years, right?
Feels like Steve and Ken are going to have this discussion, and one wants them and one doesn't.
Yeah, yeah. We've already discussed it last year or 2 years ago.
Oh, you remember that conversation?
Yep.
So Rachel says, I imagine a toy scale Hein would be about the same size as a Star Wars Republic gunship.
I would not know. Is that the big round one that's like a Zeppelin almost? Zeppelin shaped?
I don't know.
It's like if a watermelon was kind of pointy on one end. Is that the one?
I'm sure she'll weigh in on.
Maybe
in
I don't know. I'm not a Star.
I'm supposedly a Star Wars guy,
guy.
but I don't know the scales. I don't understand the scales of their ships by comparison.
So Graf is saying we need a T-72 tank so we can recreate the tank versus Hein scene in Rambo 3.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can we get a character that looks like the guy from Red Dawn, Bobby, so he can shoot his AK-47 at it, knowing he's going to die? Although he could have used a rocket launcher and not just shot the guy, he could have taken it out.
Yeah, right. No doubt.
Even as a kid, that bothered me. Like, why did you shoot that? Why didn't you shoot something else?
Yeah.
Because everyone liked that guy because he had the Star Wars hat. That guy is nuts too now. He does some crazy films. So yeah, Graf basically says I'm a BattleTech nut, but doesn't seem to fit the Delta 17 world.
Yeah, it'd be fun, but
so the plans for the comics.
Yes.
Let's discuss what you have going for the comics, especially going into Joe Fest.
Okay, so comic book issue 1 should be available for sale at Joe Fest. It's it was the script was ready and handed over in September of last year, and of course everything gets kind of kicked down the road until it's like, oh shit, we got to get this done, right? Will it be done in time? We need an extension with the printer, blah blah blah. So yeah, it should happen. We have
There's the preview.
Colorist working on it and artist working on it. So everybody's working as hard and as fast as they can.
Yeah. Let me see. I think you sent that to me on the phone, Steve. Let me try to get a close up of the camera here.
Yeah, it looks good. Pew pew.
So in the comic,
Yes.
are we going to see vehicles that you might be doing?
I don't know.
Ooh,
Maybe.
that's a
Maybe.
great question. You know, and
Yep.
Steve, while you were away, we got some requests for small vehicles, and all I could say was, come see us. We'll be
Yep.
there in Augusta. We'll be there at Joe Fest.
Yep. Yeah, there might be something there. Who knows?
There might be a little something there.
In the comic, will there be any type of vehicles that maybe were pulled ideas from G.I. Joe, since they're obviously the most known? Like, and what I mean, like the armadillo, the Wolverine, where, I mean, again, a tank is a tank, all right? If you make something that looks like an Abrams, it might look like the Mole.
Right.
So, but are there anything that, like, when you look at it, you're just like, okay, well, we took some designs for the All Striker. It's a buggy. It has a big, Gatling gun on the top.
No,
I'm unique.
Not yet, from what we can tell. Okay, but I mean, at the same time, how do you quantify unique? Because I mean, like, we're trying to stay true blue, real world military for the most part, outside of some of the incredible stuff such as Shadow Dragon and Okami, right? Everything else is pretty much true military. So as far as unique goes, I mean, the Hind is a Hind, right? A lot of the other vehicles that we're going to try to do, I hope will be ones that G.I. Joe has not really touched yet. But G.I. Joe has done so much over the years. There's very little that they have not touched. I mean, like when I'm designing a character, I have to just put it out of my mind for the most part while I'm in the design phase. Does this look just like G.I. Joe? Because, like, let's say for figures in the military, there's about 10 common things you can put on your head, right? Then there's maybe another 10 that are less common. So you'll have your helmet. There'll be a couple different styles. There'll be a beret. There'll be a baseball cap. There'll be a balaclava. So let's pick just the balaclava, right? If I pick a balaclava and then I do the military color of green, it's like, well, that's beachhead. It's like, well, okay, I'll do a different military color of black. Well, that's Snake Eyes. Okay, I'll do blue, that's Shockwave. Gray, that's Firefly, etc. So it almost doesn't matter what we do
Teal?
At this point. Yeah. Teal, yeah. We
like every basketball team from the 90s.
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah.
Charlotte Hornets, anyone? Yeah. So, I mean, Steve, whenever we have talked about vehicles, there's a lot of times like you'll put a sketch in front of me or you'll come up with an idea and I don't immediately go, oh, but G.I. Joe did. Oh, but the Vamp already looks like, oh, but the Mobat is. Like, if that had happened, I would have already have said to you when we're kind of like having our brainstorming sessions that, okay, you got to bear in mind that people who don't collect Delta 17 but just want the Hind or just want vehicle A or B or C are going to want it to expand their Joe world, right? Because you see a lot of that crossover headcanon going on, right?
Yeah.
So I've never said that to you when you've come up with an idea. In terms of, at least in terms of vehicles, right? I mean, obviously with the figures themselves, the attachments from the Okami fit the vintage bat, right? I mean, it's a robot army builder. I mean, there's going to be some natural crossover there.
I didn't get those, but you did that. You made it so awesome. That is absolutely awesome.
Yes, right.
Wow, we have a celebrity in the house. Patrick Stewart from the Full Force. I am late, but thanks for putting out some fun new O-rings, guys. I got the whole set.
I think Patrick was the one who plugged it the last time I was watching Full Force, and Neil said, "Hey, why don't you come to Full Force? They're plugging Delta 17 right now." So, and there's the bat attachment. Thanks, Patrick, by the way.
And if Naked HD starts showing up, then I know it's Patrick has jumped onto his alternate
chat.
I mean, like how Kayla has 2 accounts. Yeah.
No, if you watch the Full Force, there was this Naked HD bot that kept coming in all the time, but it was only when Patrick wasn't on. Every time he was on, it never showed up, and he had no idea.
Yeah, that's funny.
Go watch Full Force podcast, everyone.
I know Matthew will know what it's talking about. but we can't both show up at the same time. Exactly.
Yep.
And you know what? He took it with such a good grain of salt, which again I love. Like, if you can't make jokes about things, why?
Well, there was the one time you got trolled in the chat, and it was right when I left, and the person was like trying. I think the person was trying to mimic like the worst side of me versus Lawrence when it comes to wrestling. It's like the person studied my mannerisms and what I would say to Lawrence if I was trying to piss him off.
So this has nothing to do with Delta 17, but when I got trolled by Toy Crustacean, Ken and I had been talking earlier, and he hits me up right after the stream, and when I totally thought it was you. I totally thought it was you, and I was pissed because you were really trolling every person in the chat, not me, but you were starting with them is what I thought, and everything that you had messaged me still lined up perfectly to the point where I didn't even talk to you the next day, and when you messaged me and said, how's Lawrence doing today, and I was like, what the fuck, dude? And you're like, what? And I'm like, I might have even shown you the messages or something. And you were like, holy shit, dude, it lines up. It was a sitcom. It was a sitcom written.
It was a comedy of errors that all lined up in this perfect storm. Because the people I was going at in the chat were people like Travis Moody, people like Ryan Sweeney, people like Tony's Figs, people who I banter with all the time. And it was just that one rare time I was actually bantering in the chat. You know me. I'm usually relatively formal with stuff. I was just in a mood that night. And then there was a troll who like picked up where I left off and kept going at Lawrence nonstop. And I was like, but that's actually trolling. Like, and I wasn't trolling Lawrence in the chat. I was just going at Ryan Sweeney and Travis and all these guys like I always do. Right. Yeah. And he was pissed. Lawrence was pissing me the next day, and I phoned him up. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, well, that wasn't cool. I'm like, what wasn't cool? He's like, you're not messing with me right now. I'm like, why would I mess with you? And it's just like, wait a minute. And we walk back the sequence of events. I'm like, I missed that entire thing. I don't know who that is. And he's just like, I believe you now. I'm like, right? I'm like, I was here watching. I'm sitting there like, I was watching hockey at 6 p.m. Brock Besser scored a goal. That guy messaged you then. I was not in front of my computer.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Thanks, Crash.
Quickly.
Welcome to the Creamery.
Thank you, Crash, for donating a membership, and Clint Jorgensen was the one.
Good job, Clint.
Thank you very much, Crash. It is very, very appreciative. I love when people do that and have fun with the mean comments, because I enjoy reading the comments that people send towards me.
No, I might as well.
Hey, yeah, and it's funny. I got the whole idea from this girl on like one of those what is it? Talent shows, right? Which there's no talent in those talent shows that they do. And she wrote a song of all bad comments that people had left on her YouTube. And you're like, wow. And like all the judges are like, oh, this is gonna be awful. And she starts singing it, and obviously there were so many mean comments that all she had to do was find ones that all fit into place, and the song worked so good. And I was like, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna because I just got hit with a whole bunch of like angry comments towards me, and I went out and I read them, and if they're all in caps, I yelled.
Yeah. Wow.
And Matthew, my moderator, was like, "That is perfect. Just don't try and do it like every week." I'm like, "No, I gotta wait till they kind of build up."
Yeah, right. Eh?
But
you gotta wait till it's ripe. Yeah,
if you can't take shots at yourself and jokes,
no. Yeah.
Why? Like, come on, dude. Don't be on YouTube or any social media platform if you can't take it,
Yeah. I mean, that's when you know that you've made it, is when they're starting to really go after you. So
yeah, especially over stupid things. Like some of the things that people got so mad at me about that you're just like, wow, because telling me I need to learn my shit because I'm not explaining. I'm calling a military thing something different. I'm like, just so you guys understand, I'm reviewing toys.
Right. Yep.
I'm not reviewing. I didn't come in to say, hey, I'm reviewing this toy, how accurate it is to this M4. I'm reviewing the toy, how it works. So
I mean, if you were the head mechanic on a Spectre gunship and you're getting everything wrong, that's bad, right? but you just have something in your hand. It's like, here's the pew pew, and, you know.
Yeah, and there are many people, and I love when people will come in and let me know. And you know when someone's like, hey, just so you know what you were referring to, that's a load-bearing, that was one.
Yeah.
The
It just helps. You know, I've been getting a lot of actuallys in my chat as well. Like,
Yeah.
you forgot this. I'm like, no, I didn't. I went on at length about it. When did you tune out? You know? Hey,
Hey,
Frostbite.
Frostbite, how you doing? All the way from Australia.
Yeah, I love the
Yes.
Ken, you know, you gotta love the comments when someone will say, "Oh, you didn't mention this," and it's like, "So you didn't finish watching the video."
Yeah.
And I mentioned that about 5 minutes
Yeah.
after I realized that I screwed something up. But thank you
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah. The other one I got is, why are you using WWE and WWF interchangeably? WWE did not exist as an entity until 2002. You need to call it WWF for anything before. I'm like, okay, so let's go ahead and correct Dark Side of the Ring, A&E Biography, the entire WWE network. And I'm like,
Mm.
you kind of missed the point. Like, if you didn't
Almost-
think I did, you know, if you think I missed that on my research,
Yeah.
Yeah.
In almost all those documentaries, they start referring to the WWE because
the only one
how
that
they
doesn't
want.
is Dark Side of the Ring, and they do it interchangeably because they're not through WWE. But still, even
and
then,
I know this is Delta 17, but it's been WWE, and I still call it WWF because I still
I
hate
know
Yeah.
over 20 years.
But,
So do I.
It's crazy that it's been that long.
Yeah,
I mean, how it's not even owned by a McMahon anymore.
yeah. Right.
All right, so Joe Fest.
All right.
Let's talk about what you have going on at Joe Fest because, as you guys alluded to earlier, Friday on Ken's channel, not mine. See where I stand in this hierarchy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ken will be complete. Will you be showing off the Joe Fest exclusive or just?
Yep.
We will reveal it, and Steve, I might even change the thumbnail after to the colored version when it's done.
Mm-hmm.
Might even do it then. Right.
Whoa, wait! Why are we doing colored? Come on, listen. This is
Right now it's blacked out.
Right now, the thumbnail that I'm gonna put up is blacked out. It's like the figure is blacked out. It's a silhouette. So, you know.
All right. So you'll be showing the whole thing on Friday, though.
Yes,
We will
but
be showing
not to you.
Not to me. I've been banned.
Just kidding.
All of a sudden, I go to Ken's channel and I'm blocked.
Yeah.
I can't find it anywhere.
Gaz and Wilhelm are moderators. Hey, boys. Largo, you know what to do on Friday if Lauren shows up in the chat.
Unfortunately, Friday, I think I'm busy. What time are you going live?
Italy, like 10:30 your time.
Well, we're going on with the power of the force thing.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It is May 31st. You're right. I didn't realize you were wrapping up late.
What?
Okay. I didn't realize you were wrapping up late. I thought it was going to be.
Well, I just spoke. Well, Alice and I had talked about it, and we
Okay.
want to do a wrap up. Anyway, that's beside here nor there. I can watch on the replay. YouTube is a very big platform. We all have enough space for it. Go check out the Joe. Seriously, go check out that because this is gonna be way cooler. All right, so you have an exclusive that you're going to be showing on your channel. That's why I'm going live against you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
When you've gone against me, it's worked for you before. Your review got way more views than my unboxing, and you only did a part of a wave.
And
You only did
technically,
three figures.
I have the most views of any active YouTuber.
Since HGC is now retired.
Exactly.
You know?
And listen, I take a win as a win. All right.
Yeah.
He retired. I am the most active YouTuber. That video honestly did so well. I was,
Yeah.
Not that it was.
We'll see HGC at Joe Fest. Actually, he's always a pleasure. So
yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, your video did really, really well. I was like, good.
Mhm.
Oh my god, get the word out there. It doesn't matter who wins as long as we win.
Even though some people weren't happy with it, which I was like,
Yeah.
all right.
Whatever.
So you're gonna be reviewing, or you're gonna be
Reveal.
showing that off on a live stream. I'm assuming
Yes.
10:30. I think we already mentioned that, but I can't remember anything.
Yeah.
So what about Joe Fest itself? Are we going to have any hints going into wave 2 or wave 1.5?
We'll be
That one.
revealing. Yeah, we'll be revealing the Wave 1.5 figure. It's actually ready for tooling right now, I could just tell the production manager to just go ahead and tool it up. Let's start the machines. Let's go. But there's a couple things we could improve just slightly. So there's a 2mm change I want to do here, and there's a this and a that. So I'm taking my time. There's no big rush. People have plenty to play with here. But we will be showing it off. It'll be something unique. We'll just call it unique.
If only there was a PowerCon this year happening in the middle of August, it would have been perfect timing to debut the figure.
All right, can I make a suggestion? Because Ken makes videos. When you do, just like you said, I can just tell him to go live I can go live right now and tell him to produce it. You need to do a video like those 80s videos where they say for it to go, and then you see like you picking up the phone to call, and then you have a projection manager that's hitting the button.
Yeah.
Come on.
That'd be all right. Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm talking about, like the 80s movies where something goes and all of a sudden you see like the whole chain of command as it's happening.
Yeah, and then that alarm
exactly.
starts going. Yeah.
I think as soon as we reveal what the figure is, last year Wilhelm was doing like 1 minute, not shorts, but he was doing like 1 minute videos. We'll get to that in a sec. 1 minute videos about going to each booth, like he went to Marauder and all that. So I assume as soon as we show that, he's going to film it and he's going to get it uploaded when he gets to his hotel room. Yeah. That's kind of what I'm expecting him to do.
People
right?
will see it right away.
If he doesn't, great. Then all right.
So Patrick Stewart asked, I was going to ask if we would be doing new sculpt or redeco, but it sounds like you're going to do new for sure. Are you going to do any? Are you going to be doing many redecos in the line? Again, if you guys don't know, reading is hard.
No, let's unwind that for a second, because the Joe Fest exclusive is a redeco. Yeah. That's the one that's going to be available at Joe Fest. The other item, the Wave 1.5 item we're unveiling at Joe Fest, will not be available for sale, and that will be completely new. But that has redeco potential too. Steve?
In the future, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it might look cool if you slap a Cobra sigil on it as well.
I feel like the 1.5 might have a lot of different kit bashing opportunities.
Have we shown it to you yet? Have we shown you the preview, Lawrence? Okay, I've shown you the very, very early thought on it. So Lawrence knows a little something. He knows just enough.
It was. Right. I mean, Steve did kind of show what it was, and it was after your stream. Yes. It seems like there's a lot of kit bashing opportunities for it,
and customization.
Really, some really cool stuff.
Oh, yeah. Wait till you see the latest version, bud.
Patrick Stewart. I was just wondering, Patrick Stewart. Not. I'm sorry. Are you going to be going to Joe Fest, Patrick?
You're getting caught here, man. What's going on? Breathe.
Because I'm thinking of what does Chris always say when he introduces them? Not
the Star Trek guy.
Not Picard.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was trying to figure out where Chris got Diagnostic 80 from. Apparently, like 80 is the year he was born. Was Diagnostic the name of his old band or something?
It was his. It's his. Not DJ, but he's a rapper, so it's his rap name.
Oh, okay. I was wondering because someone said it was from his music days, so I assumed it was like an old band. Yeah, and I just assumed it was a rock band. I didn't even think it was a rapper thing.
He discussed it on. I forget what he discussed it on. But yeah, he did discuss it, and it has something to do with.
I was hoping we'd see Chris at Joe Fest, but apparently he's not making it. But there it is, DJ name.
There it is.
But yeah, I mean, but if Patrick goes to, that'd be perfect, right? Yeah.
Yes, not because. Thank you very much. Things run through my head way faster than I can speak, like words than I try and read.
Yeah, I hear that one.
All right, so when it comes to Joe Fest, are you guys going to be there all 3 days?
Yep. Oh yeah.
And you guys are leaving Monday. Are you guys leaving first thing in the morning, or are you guys going to be there for a little bit?
We'll be, I don't know, it depends on the flights. Ken and Mega J will be flying in and out. I will be driving with a van load of stuff. So
I'll be able to hang out Sunday night, but it's a really early flight. Like we have to leave at like pretty much midnight or 1 a.m. on Monday morning in order to make it for the flight, because both of me and Mega J have flights between 6 and 6:30 a.m. coming out of Charlotte, and we have early flights coming out of where we're at right now. So yeah.
Well, I'm driving home, so I have to decide if I'm going to leave first thing in the morning. I don't work till Thursday, so
you're lucky.
I may just take my sweeto time and maybe stay the night somewhere else if I have a little bit of money, or crash in my car. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not pushing it to get home. I'm not doing that shit again.
Is that what you did? That's why the whole Ohio thing happened with PowerCon last time, right?
No. I just come back from Florida the week before,
Mm-hmm.
and on that Saturday I was like, fuck it, it's 4 hours. It was longer than 4 hours, and then that's when my car blew up in fucking Ohio. Fucking stupid ass state.
That's why you need a shotgun. Just sit there and just boom, boom, just do it properly, man, and then walk away. You got to walk away in slow motion, though, right?
Were they blowing up?
Yeah.
No, I was just wondering, so I can have an idea. You guys are flying in. I didn't know if Mega J was going or not.
He's going. Yeah, me and him are flying in. We're meeting in Charlotte, and we're taking a rental car, right? And then Steve is going to be driving because he's got to bring the inventory.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
Right. That's why we did get the question before, like, was there a possibility for you to split your crew, one to go to Texas and one to go to Georgia? But the thing is, for example, call sign Longbow is able to do that because John lives much closer to Texas.
Okay.
Right. Right. And then Troy, I think, is just going to make the Georgia trip. So that's why they're able to do that. And I think Matthew LaCroix and his partner Jason for Strike Force Alpha, I think they're in kind of a similar arrangement, but we don't have that arrangement. We're coming from far and farther. Right. You know, and good luck sending me in one of those trucks with inventory trying to drive down the U.S. Right? You know.
Yeah.
I don't think I trust you to drive a car. Period.
Hey, now. Well, that's true. I asked Mega J to drive, so yeah, I guess that theory holds true.
Is Mega J going to be working the booth with you, or is he just flying in with you?
He'll be working the booth. It'll be Meg because he's our webmaster, right? And he's actually got a little bit of work on the comic. He's doing the lettering for the comic.
Yep.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah,
he does all sorts of stuff for us.
It'll be fun to see Mega J again. Make sure you get him a Coke, not a Pepsi, because he's kind of a baby about it.
All I wanted was a Pepsi, Mom. Just one Pepsi.
Yeah, so he wanted a Coke.
Oh, they should write a song about that.
I owed him a Coke because the Super 7 Cat Slayer funded. I still think it was BS, but either way, I got him a Pepsi because that's all they had at PowerCon, and he was like, "Oh, thanks, man, but I don't." So he gave it to his brother. He's like, "No." Oh yeah! Oh my god, I couldn't believe it. And then we went out to eat. I got there late, and he was like, "They don't have Coke here either." I was like,
oh no!
It's always the same thing. I'd like a Coke. Is Pepsi okay? No.
You know what? I could care. I mean, I prefer.
I used to be picky about that. I like Coke more.
I don't really. There is a little difference, but not enough for me to care.
I do have some slight concerns whether we're going to be able to see everybody, because people are going to be like, okay, let's meet for breakfast, and it's like, when are we setting up the booth? And then it's going to be like, okay, everybody meet for dinner. Okay, when can we get out and do stuff? And I'm just worried that like this bunch of people is going to go there, and that bunch of people is going to go here, and we're going to be like, where is everybody? You know. I
mean, I know for the one day that I was out there, you know, for PowerCon. Ed decided not to show up because he was tired, so he went and crashed. So when
Ed is an Action Figures, Ed?
Yes.
Okay.
So you know, I went out to eat with them. Ted and Aaron went home. Oz was there. Mega J, Emerald Knight, Terrence, the crackhead that tried picking up Terrence's son, she showed up. Can't make this shit up, right? Like,
really? Oh,
I was in the
Oh
chat.
my god,
Hill,
like
you know.
it was bad. Like we were outside all like BSing after we were
Yeah.
done, and this crackhead came up and she starts asking for money, and then she's like, "Oh, you're cute and everything," and we're like,
oh,
"Dude,
oh man.
it was bad." We gave her some money and she went in, and like we were in the back. There was also a front entrance. They must have escorted her out the front. She never
Yeah.
came back out.
Wow. Like, not you again. No way.
It was bad. But yeah, but again, you got like, I mean, you do have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night to meet up with some people and do different
Yeah.
things. But
Technically
it's gonna be
part
hard.
of Thursday, but it'll be late. But yeah, technically
I
part of
won't, I won't be
Thursday.
until Friday. I am staying with Aaron, the toy enhancer.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so I'm driving into Georgia. Staying.
You mean you're not staying with Travis?
What?
You're not staying with Travis from Toy Kind of Mood then?
Travis isn't coming in yet. Travis won't be until Friday. So Travis and Tony are coming in Friday.
Mm.
I thought they were going to come in on Thursday. And again, let's just say that Travis logistically explaining things, takes quite some time, and that's kind of why I've been frustrated with a lot of the things.
Yeah.
When I found out he's coming in Friday, since I'm driving in, I don't want to risk trying to drive in on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Aaron's
that's
like,
way
well,
too late.
I'm in Atlanta. He's like, you can crash at my house, and I think he has like all board games and he's got all kinds of like things he wants us to do, like toy hunts, and I'm probably gonna go make dials together. And
Wow. Make a macaroni duck. Those are my favorite. Macaroni ducks when I was a kid. By the time I got home, half of it was eaten. I love those. There's actually a point in the comic where, well, no. But anyways, just remember macaroni ducks.
All right, everyone remember that macaroni duck. All right.
Yeah.
Is there possible a toy of macaroni duck with someone coming?
That would be a good, actually, a good accessory, I think.
Yeah. See, that's that is what. Keep this in mind. I don't run your toy company. That is what
Okay.
I think 4-inch or 1/18 scale lacks. Accessories for world building. They have vehicles for world building, but accessories, cups,
Right.
glasses, plates, different things like that. I know obviously Hasbro's done some with the G.I. Joe, but for the most part, you don't really get that. 6-inch, you get all kinds of accessories that you can use. Nectar just loves throwing them in there.
Doesn't Marauders do a bunch of that stuff? And there's like stuff on Etsy and whatever. I don't know. Like, I think there's stuff out there.
Oh, I'm sure you can go find some, but I'm talking about putting them in with figures and different things like that. So you have them as your world building that way.
Okay.
Those
Yeah.
might-
Yeah. Fair. Yeah. If people enjoyed our accessories and how we did things in Wave 1, I think they're going to enjoy Wave 2. We're really going to put a lot of focus on accessories. Not to say that we're not putting focus on the figures. The figures are always number one, but the accessories, we're going to have a lot of fun with them.
Yeah, so Patrick says there is a company called Apache
Epoch.
that does 1/18 world building stuff. Yeah, like I know I can get a lot of that stuff the same way they get the 1/12 stuff. But having that stuff, like when you pick up a figure, like a dog is an accessory, right? I mean, that is a nice part of world building. But,
Yeah.
To have a glass that comes with something or a set of plates, like you said, your little duck there, like that would be super cool. So that's just me. I don't want to have to buy. I hate having to buy accessories from all over. I already do enough of that with the 1/12 scale that I'm doing, and 3D
Right.
print. I 3D printed a desk yesterday and today, so
Oh, that's cool.
now I can
Nice.
actually the first one that I did, it told me what to scale it for 1/12.
Yeah.
Because I'm watching it, I'm like, that's not gonna fit. So then I went up and I redid everything, but now I have one for my Joes, for my O-ring stuff.
Nice. Oh, that's cool.
Maybe I'll put your dog on it.
Yeah. Good.
Flashbang. See,
There we go.
he's not a dog now. Now he is Flashbang. That was revealed here,
Yes. See, so you got your reveal, so everyone's happy.
which
There we
wasn't
go.
which was a guess That
Yeah.
was perfect the first time.
You did good. You did good.
Impromptu. Yep.
Yep.
Is there anything else that you guys want to mention about the line? I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I mean, you guys have ideas for other vehicles, I know.
Yep.
Bad Guy Faction we went over. Joe Fest exclusive. Comic plans. What poster? You said you're going to have 2 posters there.
Yes. Bless you.
What posters are they?
They're going to be 11 by 17s. We're not going to do the full big poster because, not everybody has real estate for big 24 by 36. But one will be the comic book cover, and one will be the which I'm drawing right now, and one will be the Wave 1.5 figure done in a really cool render with all sorts of funky stuff on it.
See, Lone Dragon says, so when can we get a figure that comes with a Roman accessory? They're relentless. I mean,
Yeah.
He has become the mascot of the...
We were going to propose the name Roman here, but in the last week, Steve named the dog, so...
I actually like Flashbang. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I think it would be really cool, but if there was a dog in a line, I'd want it to be a pit bull. I mean, it's just like, if you're going to name it after... Again, I don't want it to be named after me. I like it, named after my dog.
Right.
I don't need that type of recognition.
Yeah.
Patrick says, smart. We are all running out of room. Yes.
Yeah, no kidding.
Where's that Robo Skull going to go? Where's that Dragonfly going to go? Oh
I know. God. Hang it from the ceiling, man.
Well, you know what? I think both of them did a wonderful job of making sure that it has a stand to make it look like it's flying. So now you can, and I didn't actually order the stand for the Robo Skull, which I'll have to because, again, I don't even know why I did it. Like, I was like, I can just order it later. Like, why wouldn't I just do it?
Yeah, I'm not a stand guy either, but then in retrospect, it's like, actually, that would be pretty cool.
But you went all in, Steve, so you'll get it, right? So.
No, I didn't go all in, but I did buy pretty much. I bought pretty much everything, anyways. I'm one of those dummies that's like, I'm not going to do all in. I'm going to pay more and get pretty much everything except for that one thing I don't like, which was the stand, right? And then it's like, oh, that was stupid.
And the stand looks, the way it's designed, it looks pretty cool how it's going to set.
Yeah.
Everything. I know this is not about Delta 17. I think everything that they have shown off has just been top notch, and their figures were the figures that they sent out were really, really good. I was, very impressed with it, just like I was, impressed with you guys. So, but is there anything else? Oh.
I know that it's not Delta 17, but I love this stuff just as much as anyone else does, and the best part about it is I don't have to work 10 and 14 hours a day. It just shows up in the mail and I can just have fun. So, when Longbow comes out, when Recall comes out, Skeletron, etc., it's like, yes, yay, I can just have fun, So I love it.
That seems like it would be something very, that'd be nice. Like, it's like you're getting something that you enjoy.
Yeah.
Probably not as much as your own product because it's your own product and it's kind of like your child, but it's like, it just, like you said, it just shows up. I pay for it. It shows up. It works the way that it's supposed to, and you go about your business. And I think that's great. And having that type of attitude is great because I think too many people. I feel like too many people in this sphere have the attitude of, they have to be better than someone, not because their product is so good, but just to be better than them. And I've always said, like, when I was young and skateboarding, if I looked at someone and I'm like, dude, I want to be as good as that guy, it was not to be as good as him. It was because he's that good, and that's how I want to be that good. And I would assume if I get to be that good, he's going to be that much better, and I can look at him again and be like, I still want to be as good as him.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. Like everybody, I don't think there's one toy maker out there who wants to be like, I want to be the 5th best out there. Right. We all want to be the best, but at the same time, I want everyone else to succeed. If we were sitting here thinking like, oh, I can't wait till Skeletron goes down and Longbow and whatever. Like what's that attitude? Like why? There's enough to go around. These are good people making great products. And if we're so fear-based that we have to see our competitors, die on the battlefield in order for us to succeed, then we must have really shitty product. I'm sorry.
Well, I was on the phone with Carson from 3D Joe's not long ago, and I've said the same thing to
competitor Carson. Please say that.
To Skeletron, I said the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Carson.
the answer that I said back in the day, or not a month ago, back in the day, where'd I get that from? Okay, back in the day, G.I. Joe in like 88, 89, they'd release 40, 50, 60 figures in a year, right? And between all of us, I don't know if we have that many. Maybe we do, but the way it seemed to work is Strikeforce Alpha landed just before 2023 ended. Then a couple of months later, the Skeletron O-rings landed. Then in April, ours landed. Fingers crossed, call sign Longbow makes it before the end of the year. We'll have a Wave 1.5 figure before the end of the year and a Joe Fest exclusive. And hopefully Operation Recall lands sometime next year. And then you keep filling that gap where there's not too long of a lull period. And Carson was like, that's actually a really good way to put it. Like it all just shook out that way by chance. We didn't plan it that way, but you almost think that we did by the way the schedule has been going. Right.
Yeah.
So just
so here's a question I'm going to ask.
Yo.
And it's not exactly about Delta 17. Are you a 1/18th guy, or do you just collect all kinds of things? Or do you collect
me or Ken?
I know you.
Ken collects everything.
Yeah.
His channel should be Ken Collects. But are you just a 1/18th guy, or are you classified scale?
Okay, I'm a bit of a weirdo. Like a lot of people in our circle, they watch a lot of these movies and they're really into the culture and stuff like that. I've never seen E.T. I've never seen Princess Bride. I don't play Call of Duty. There's a lot of things I don't do. I don't watch television, etc.
You do play Battlefield, though.
I play Battlefield. Yes, I love Battlefield. So when people ask me, like, if you could buy any car, what kind of car would you have? I'd be like, I'd point on my driveway, the Jeep I have. They're like, no, any car, like a Ducati, or this or that, the Jeep I have. Okay, if you could play any video game, I only play one video game. Hey, dude, let's get together and let's play something else. No, I only play Battlefield. And, like, I'm really weird. I really only collect G.I. Joe, and it's really only O-ring, but at the same time, I like having fun. And, like, I've got lots of SpongeBob. I've got Stitch. I've got Wall-E, a bit of Thundercats, the Tick. I love the Tick, Robotech. I get into the bizarre. If it's not G.I. Joe, it's got to be a bit bizarre.
Okay. So the way you collect, right? Like you're mostly 1/18 G.I. Joe with odds and ends here and there.
Yeah.
But if we were to talk comics, you're very deep into Marvel. You're deep into
I'm a huge Marvel guy. Then I do some Batman because Batman has the best writers, the best artists. So wherever the writers and the artists go, that's where I tend to follow.
Yes. So there we go. We all need to support each other, right?
Yeah.
So when people ask Steve, I tried to figure out for years what Steve's number 2 thing was, but because he doesn't have a lot of Marvel Legends, right? I assumed he wasn't a Marvel guy, but because you have a lot of the comics, Marvel really is kind of like among this pop culture sphere. I would say safely that is your number 2, but you're very selective on Marvel toys, right?
I have a lot of Legends. I would say I've got a good pile of them. I probably have
not compared to your Joe's.
No, I have about between 60 to 80 of them. But for
is it
Joe's,
that many now? Okay.
Yeah, I think so. But with Joe's, the O-rings, I have probably 400, and then I have about maybe 150 moderns, and then I've got maybe 80 of the classifieds.
Yeah.
But yeah, Marvel is big with me. I think the most fascinating part of Marvel is the X-Men and how they interact. I've always enjoyed the X-Men. How you can have big players, small players, but everybody still is important.
Yeah.
And how they shine at different times and stuff like that.
All right, so Patrick and not Picard Stewart.
Nice.
Did you collect the 97 through 07 era O-rings, those, or just the 82 through 94?
I collect them all now. I want absolutely everything now. I fell out of collecting and discovered, cars and girls and whatever. Well, heavy metal and whatever. We'll just put it that way. I think in 1987 or 80, yeah, 87. So I had a few of the 87s and then I was gone. I remember going into this is one of my worst stories I have in my whole life. I walked into Toys R Us as a teenager. I drove my Baja off-roading Volkswagen Beetle that was painted with flames up to a Toys R Us. That was my first car. And I go in there and they had the Night Force the two figures carded, right? And they had just a wall of them and they were all on sale for $3 each for two figures, 3 for 2, right? And I stood there and I was like, if I just buy all of these and I put them in a box, they might be worth something someday. And I was like, that's bullshit. No, it'll never happen, right? And I stood there for 15 minutes scratching my well, it wasn't really a beard at the time. And just kind of like, yeah, maybe, And I walked away like, nah, it'll never happen. Besides, they're just stupid repaints. No one will like them.
And now.
Now they're like $1,000 each, right? Per card.
So what I was trying to get at, though, this was my question, and
sorry,
you guys are specifically dealing with it. No, it's fine. Like, I love hearing that type of stuff. And this is something that I've been saying for quite some time. And I'm just basing on what I see. 1/12 is really the scale that most collectors are collecting now. Now, there's still a spot for O-rings for the 1/18 scale. There's still a spot for modern 4-inch. I'm not saying anything negative against that because I have a whole G.I. Joe room.
Right.
But does it seem, because this is what I've been saying, it seems like there's only so many O-ring only so many O-ring collectors around, where you, Call Sign Longbow, Operation Recall, they're all kind of eating off the same people.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I mean, do you guys
the pond is only so big and there's only so many fish in that pond. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, whereas 6-inch, you cross over to Marvel Legends, you cross over to Star Wars Black Series,
Exactly.
You're pulling in those fans, right?
But do you find that, like, do you see new people coming in, or does it just seem like it's always the same people supporting these Kickstarters? Obviously, you guys didn't do a Kickstarter, but
like for the most part, the people that buy from us, a lot of them don't interact with us, but the ones that do, I don't know. It's hard to make up, just rules for a lot of this stuff.
I was surprised when I saw the names of the orders that came in. I thought we knew everybody, and I'm like, whoa, we don't know a whole ton of these people. Who's this and who's that and who's this? And I mean, some people use an alias online. That's how, but that's not everybody, right? So
yeah, the cool thing is, just yesterday we had our biggest sale. One guy in Spain bought 62 figures. I was like, holy cow, dude. So
I think
anyway,
he was buying for his friends because there were a lot of single carded. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Anyway, as for 97 to 07 figures, I mean, that was the only way to get Quinn the Tracker, right? So
yeah, right. Yeah, he's so cool. I got him up there too. But as far as like the pond and how many fish are in it, I have a theory. I may be wrong. I don't think I'm wrong, but there's so many families of toys out there. If you go into Toys R Us, we still have Toys R Us in Canada. The only reason why Toys R Us in the States actually failed was because they shorted it. So somebody actually went out there, intentionally brought them down to make a profit off of them and destroyed that whole line just by shorting them. So anyways, a bit of a side note. So the O-ring figure is a different family in its own, and it's from the past in a way. I think it still has a place in the modern time. It's got a good, it's very robust. It's easy to play with, to pose. You don't have to worry about things breaking. Like when you're taking, let's say, a classified figure, you're trying to just bend the elbows. Sometimes it's like, it's hard to do, right? I love my classifieds. But, I've been at a couple of family gatherings, and I bring a couple pockets full of these things. If there's kids there, I just pass them out to my little second cousin or whatever it is. And I'd sit back, and over the 3 or 4 hours that this family gathering's going on, every now and then check, and they're still playing with them 3-4 hours later. These kids love them. I think there's a place for kids to get back into the O-ring. They're really, like I said, robust. You have to really chuck them really hard against the concrete floor to get them to break. And now that we've fixed our we have PVC thumbs, so they're not going to break.
Which is wonderful.
Yeah, and everyone else is doing that. All the other guys that are coming up, Recall, Longbow, etc. They're all doing that same thing, which is good. I think there's a place for all of us at the table, and to bring kids hopefully back to toys. And if that day comes, which I think it is coming very soon, I think that the O-ring family is going to be something that's really welcomed by children. It's the perfect scale to fit in your pocket, to fit into a little truck that you can hold in your hand that's not, this big, etc. Not that there's anything wrong with those other scales. I love them all. They're all fun.
Yeah.
World building, sandbox kind of stuff. O-rings.
Yeah, you're allowed to like multiple. So like Patrick Stewart says, I think a lot of the focus on 1/12 now is that the scale was ignored for so long, and the secondary market has most characters in 1/18 already.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, and I think with Hasbro they made a huge mistake when they tried redoing the O-rings, and all they did was reproduce O-ring figures, that we already have for $20, and a lot of them can be had for $25-$30 already, on eBay. And it's like, well, why am I gonna? And I did buy them, and they weren't as good. They weren't as good. And I'm not that guy that says, hey, everything was better in the 80s than it is now, because I don't believe that.
Right.
But there is something with the new G.I. Joes. Like, I really wish when they would have brought them back, let's say when they did Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, they would have given them the swivel wrist. That changes everything when you're trying to pose a figure.
Yeah.
They should have made it so their necks can look up and down like the later versions. We didn't have to have something that looks the exact same, even though it was completely resculpted.
Yeah, like with swivel wrists, you can actually get a guy to hold both hands on the gun. One on the foregrip, one on the pistol grip. It actually works.
And then with the PVC thumbs, you don't have to worry about the dreaded sound of it. And you go, oh, I know what that is.
Yep. Exactly.
I will rail on people when they post their classified or whatever, and they don't know how to pose it like in a shooting position. And I don't even have to be a great one, but like they have it on the outside. But when it comes to O-ring, if you're able to fit the original gun in their hand, and I don't care if the stock is sitting like this, if that's how you get it in, that's where it stays. You don't test that thumb, all right?
No, especially if it's Zap. You just leave it be.
Carlos, we're not going to address that, but
I have some. There is some good stuff. There's some good stuff that he puts out for sure.
I mean, I thought that the Night Op Steel Brigade was like one of the best figures that year.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I have a bunch. Yeah.
He's made some pretty good product.
Oh yeah.
I've discussed it before, and
I mean, E-Collectibles carries the stuff up here. That's where I get my stuff from. I know I reference kind of an older figure, but that's just the one that comes to mind, right? So
So Patrick's right here. Like, it's a lot easier to pick up the 1/18th, the 1/18th trucks and everything. Again, the world building is better for 1/18th, but and you can look on my YouTube channel. You can go back to the live streams. I have said for quite some time that once people start getting these 1/12 vehicles in, they're going to realize how much space it takes up. But I'm being proven wrong because they are selling like crazy. As much as people may hate that the Vamp is not available right now, Hasbro is doing the smart thing and saying, here's how many we're making. You get it when they're available. We're not going to be stuck with a bunch of this product.
Right. Yeah, now this is just my opinion. I think 1/12 might start to trail off a bit in the future, just because, like, just based off of, like, I moved into this big place. We have 3 houses on this lot now, right? My wife has her own house. I have my own house. My oldest daughter has her own house, and not that me and my wife are arguing or anything like that, but just that I snore, so I go into the barn with the animals, right?
Well, that's where you are right now. Right?
Yeah, which is fine,
Right. But the barn is kind of like your extended man cave size, right? Like you do
it's
live
huge.
in the main house, right? It's just
Yeah. It's huge
Right.
in here, but once I start lining up the classifieds, it's like these are big, but I still love them.
And you have the space, right?
Yeah,
So,
I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have about 12 shelves, 5 desks.
Yeah.
And I mean, it just goes on and on here. It's crazy.
Mhm.
Hey, Sonny.
Yeah. And I mean,
Hey, Sonny.
I am not going to I'm not going to take what I said away. Like, they take up a lot of space.
They do.
I love the 1/12 scale stuff, but at the same time, when people sit there and they say, and I'm one of them, hey, look how big a vamp is. Well, it's about as big as a mauler. Actually, a mauler is actually probably a little bit bigger. You can just fit more figures into it. Look at you look at the flag. It's large. It's not just long. It's wide and it's tall. And,
the superstructure is bulky. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot there.
And mine has traveled with me since 1985.
Wow. Well, good on you, man. That's awesome.
Well, you have all the shipwrecks, right? And yeah, army building, your sailor. I mean, Steve and I have gone back and forth because a lot of people ask us about, are you thinking about doing 1/12 Delta 17? And it's just like, I've told Steve, I'd love the idea. And it's like, yeah, but it takes our focus off of other things, right? So,
Yeah.
It seems like a great idea to jump into 2 different scales when you're Hasbro and Mattel, or even Super 7 at their size. It seems like it'd be very difficult from a small scale where, hey, let's do this, let's do that. We've already seen Ramen. Like, I've talked about it before. I watched, and everyone did, watch Ace have a complete meltdown one day because people were asking about, and this was on his Facebook group page. People were asking because they wanted the 1/12 scale fake mask stuff, right?
Oh, okay.
And
Machina.
he said, "Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that." And all of a sudden, he comes back. He's like, "Fine, I'm doing it." And it was 4 or 5 comments, and it was a meltdown just happened. Then he finally apologized at the end, like, "Hey, I'm sorry about that." But it's like, don't give in.
Ace is under a lot of pressure as it is.
I mean, I'm just going to leave my comment to myself.
I don't know. We would enjoy, like, if we were ever to get into the 6-inch scale, it would be with 1 or 2 figures. That's it. It would just be like, hey, here's our most popular guys that everyone loves. We'll do I don't know. I'd have to look at what tooling would cost for that, and therefore how many figures we'd have to sell, and and then how many customers do we have right now? Is this sustainable, et cetera, et cetera? I think people would enjoy it.
You would open to a new customer base. I think that's the idea there. But again, it takes our eye off of the ball right now, which is trying to build and develop the world. It's almost like now you're doing an offshoot over here, trying to redevelop the same world in a different scale. Right. We're not as far as we want to be, as far as the comic, as far as the waves. Remember, we wanted all our stuff delivered last year. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah. Right. We wanted to go to the first Joe Fest with product and just surprise everyone. Remember, we talked about that. We're like, could you imagine if we just came out of left field and had all the product there? It's like, but it's going to be hard to do that. And
it was close in some ways. Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
In some ways, it was close. Yeah.
What Carlos says, limited display space gives 1/18 a big advantage over 1/12, especially for vehicles.
Yeah.
And I have been the one that I've shown off the 3D printed ones that I have and how big they are. And I have everything from Classified. But it seems like I don't want to say on the loop because I want them. It's not like I won't continue to buy them, but it is one of those weird things where it's kind of like, people don't seem to care right now. And when you're watching people buy 5 vamps and they have 5 HISS tanks, and you're going, I don't even want to know what you do financially, because what you spend your money on and what you do, but how do you physically find space for this in your home? But
Right.
the other thing that I'm learning is that we're on, as the Instagram presence grows and you see more and more people, a lot of these people are doing photography. So they want to have 2 or 3 vamps and 2 or 3 hiss tanks and probably have 2 or 3 dragonflies. And the photography is so much better. And again, you can
It's incredible.
Yeah, you can get cool photography out of, the O-rings, but it's not going to be the exact same. It's you can't get that same detail. Okay,
Yeah,
right.
all the poses and everything.
You can get the same detail out of 1/18 scale figure. People mostly don't make a 1/18 scale because it would be too costly to get all the joints. Before anyone yells at me and says that you can do it, I just wanted to say that. All right, cover my ass before someone yells and screams at me and leaves me a mean comment. Actually,
Right.
Because then I can use.
Because no one ever leaves you a mean comment, right?
No.
Done now.
I'm that guy that everyone just absolutely loves. But is for Skeletron, are they doing more than the one O-ring?
He's gotten requests, and I've tried to put the bug in his ear that we need to see an O-ring gyre wolf, and he's just kind of smiled at me when I've said that. So I'm gonna go ahead and speculate he's probably gonna do the silver gyre wolf in an O-ring, but that's not confirmed. That's just like I said it,
but
and
that's
like
still
smiled at me.
Mostly a repaint, right?
Yes. Look, when I've asked him, right, he says he really wants to stick to the Marauder 1/18th scale and the like modern 4-inch and the 1/12 scale. He wants to put a focus there. It was just hard not to do the original O-ring, knowing that Skeletron is so vintage based, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, hey Allison.
The Profit Director says what you do is use forced perspective for both scales. I tried doing that once, and I'm like, I have so much to learn.
Yeah.
Because I went out there in the snow and did a whole bunch of stuff and put like snow cats in the back.
Yep.
And I'm like, I suck at this.
Yeah, it's like what's his name, Drax with the 1-inch man, right?
Yeah. But yeah, you can do. Again, you are right with the forced perspective. I know we're way off the topic of
no, that's okay.
That's okay.
That's okay, man.
That's the enjoyable part of it, really.
We should probably tell. Sorry, go ahead, Steve.
Nope. Go on.
All I was gonna say is we should probably tell people where to find our product, though.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Just delta17toys.com.
And there is a link in the description for their Instagram page and a link, obviously, to their website. So you can go over there and purchase a bunch of stuff, or you can wait to Joe Fest and purchase it there. And then they can sign it for you. But you have to open it because toys are meant to be opened and played with.
Yes.
Actually, they don't care. Once you buy it, they don't care. They got your money.
There we go. Yep.
Yeah. So Rachel says, the first Skeletron O-ring sold out so fast. They have to be thinking about the future O-rings.
Yes. Yeah, that's. And everyone out there, please buy lots of Delta 17 toys. I want to buy a yacht with a big swimming pool that's so big I put a boat in it.
And I want him to do so I can be invited onto it.
Yeah, and then we can drive the boat around the pool as we drive the yacht.
And I want to use my shares to buy another rare transformer, so there's that.
We're like, hey, can we use the jet ski? Oh, there's sharks out there. We'll just go jet skiing in the pool.
Yeah, nice. That'd be perfect.
All right, so Frostbite says, for anyone watching this from Australia, it was super easy and not overly expensive to get the figs from the States to Australia.
I think it was something like $26 for like one figure, Australian, to get it there, which is only like less than 20 American. And then if you add another figure, it's like $2 more or something. So
it's almost double the price. I mean, and again, you guys do not control shipping.
Nope.
So if you just buy one figure, it almost doubles the price to add the shipping. However, if you add multiple figures to it, it's only a couple of extra. Now, there's a few people in Australia in the chat. I see Frostbite there. I see Sunny there. There's Zazel's in Australia. I got a couple of friends. My friend Brendan's in Australia. There you go. The next comment right away. Shipping was okay.
Yeah, I've been watching as the orders
So-
come in, and some of the international shipping isn't bad. There's what is that one company was Asperia?
Ascendia.
Ascendia. Yeah, their rates aren't bad at all. I was thinking like, holy cow, this guy's getting stuff from the Philippines. We sell a lot to the Philippines. We sell like some of these strange, Portugal, Spain, Netherlands, and it's like prices aren't bad.
Yeah. Right. So
nice.
I'm picturing an inflatable pool on the deck of a houseboat with a 1/18 scale boat.
That's what I'm talking about, man.
You know what?
Right there.
If you have a houseboat big enough to put one of those inflatable pools, you still have a pretty big fucking boat.
Yep. Good enough.
No, I do want to say this. Do not complain to people about shipping. They don't control it. They're not controlling what it is. There are some companies like BBTS that will charge you $4. Do you know what it's going to do? It's going to go through Stowe, Ohio, through DHL. It's going to sit there for 3 or 4 days before they finally ship it. These guys do not control shipping. They can find new shipping partners, but I don't think anyone's trying to find a higher price shipping partner because they don't get any of the profit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, our New Jersey location is the same shipping location that Skeletron uses. They're the same location that Carson from 3D Joe sent out his big omnibus book out of. We all end up going to the same person because we thought there could be some synergies there.
Okay.
Yeah, and they do a really good job. They're fantastic.
They do. Right. Now I've heard about cards getting dinged up in shipment before. Like that does happen depending on who is physically packing it. So we try to talk to them and say, look, just be careful, right? But that's all through communication and emails and all that. We're a startup company. I mean, our launch stream was a month and a half ago.
Yeah,
right?
And if there's problems, reach out to us. Contact at delta17toys.com. Reach out to us. We'll try to make things right. And just so everyone knows, I did put out a promise on Instagram that 10% of our profits will be going to orphanages and different things like that. We have made a sizable donation already. Mm-hmm. And that will be, once we get some accountants actually counting the beans and doing different things, that will increase over time.
Good stuff.
Thank you for that. That is.
I'm not here to get rich. That's if you're just going to get rich and die.
You wanted a yacht.
I know. I was having fun. It's something I saw. It's something I saw in Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, and I was like, man, I'd love to do that just for fun, and then sell it, donate it.
Yeah, okay. You say that now. This guy wants a yacht with a pool big enough to drive his other boat to it.
Yes, that is the goal.
You see some of those yachts. There's one that shows like a $400,000 yacht compared to a $4 million yacht, and I'm like, that's bigger than my house. All right, that's bigger than like the one you could drive a car from one side to the other. Like
I was on Vancouver Island. We went to Campbell River, and one of the DuPonts rolled up with their yacht sailing boat combo thing. It was almost as long as a football field. I've never seen it. I didn't know that existed outside of ocean liners or container ships. It was huge.
JLS says the best 2 days in a boat owner's life are the day you buy it and the day you sell it. The rest are terrible. It's so funny that you say that because a guy that I work with on Snapchat, he just posted $1,000 for a tow back because his boat died on the water. So he had to get it towed back, which costs $1,000, and then you got to figure out you still got to pay to have it fixed.
Well, if I ever do get whatever, I would love to have the same Zodiac that we used in the Coast Guard. That was fun. We had 400 horsepower on this little Zodiac. We got caught out in some good squalls, I tell you, like just incredible.
Is that the boat that can't capsize?
Well, it can, but you got an inflatable pod. You pull a cord, the pod will fill up on the tow cage, it'll flip itself back over. But it's hard to capsize that one.
Okay. I think that's the one I'm talking, because there's one of the boats that they use that they said it cannot capsize.
Oh, you might be thinking of the 47 MLB, the motor lifeboat. We also use that one as well as our main captain or our main boat, and then we launched the Zodiac off of it. They use those in the States and in Canada, and those ones cannot capsize because it's got above the wheelhouse. It's got this big tank, an air tank, sealed air tank. So if it goes under, it'll flip back up again, but it's very violent when it does. It looks pretty freaky. You got to really strap in for that.
So since we're talking about it, what are your thoughts on the people at the end of winter who end up on a sheet of ice that they know they shouldn't be on, and it starts drifting away, and the Coast Guard has to go save them? What are your thoughts? Should the Coast Guard save them, or should we just let them go off? Because
so you're talking about Darwin Awards versus no, we always tried our best to save people. There's some stories that you could tell that are just like, wow, dude. And most of the time when you find someone who has passed away in the water, their fly is open. So they get really drunk, they go to take a leak, they fall off, and their boat keeps sailing. So it's quite sad.
Well, I'm just talking about the people that go ice fishing. And they're on a sheet of ice, and they know the ice is too thin, and then it breaks off, and then we live in Michigan, so we see it every single year with a few people, and the Coast Guard has to save them, and I'm like, no, you should just let them go. Maybe they should have been on the ice.
Yeah,
they went on it, it broke away. Goodbye.
Yeah, no, I don't know. You gotta go get them. Come on.
I guess. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'll let you guys just do that. I'm just gonna wait for them as they go away.
Yeah. Well, there's no more Coast Guard for me now that I'm in Manitoba, so that's kind of sad.
There is for me though.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And the Coast Guard has, I know the Coast Guard gets made fun of, but man, they got some pretty badass helicopters.
Oh man, Coast Guard's awesome, dude. Awesome. I was just there as a volunteer for 7 years, but they train you on their boats, all their different kinds of boats, and you get to work with the helicopters as they let people down and stuff like that. It's great. It's fantastic. They cross-train you on so much stuff.
And it's funny because, again, they take it, they take such a brunt from the military. Again, I'm living on the border of Canada. All right. We're really not worried about you guys coming in. But those ones that are living on the Florida coast, there's some pretty badass fuckers because they got to deal with a lot of shit.
Oh yeah, no, they actually rock the 50 cals on their boats.
Exactly.
Yeah,
we're not shooting at Canada too much.
Yeah,
we're not shooting at the casinos right on the border of Windsor there.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else you guys want to discuss before we? I think we should wrap it up. It's been 2 hours.
All right.
Ken wanted to be off by 9.
I had a boatload of fun here. It's been long overdue that we've wanted to do something together for Delta 17. I know I'll probably be back at some point unless Lawrence gets really pissed off and really thinks I'm trolling him. Then that might change.
And JLS, who I believe does something with defense, he's top secret. He says,
"Oh, secret squirrel."
Ken, we'll discuss when we get off here, because if you're still game, that Ken will be the Thursday with a friend before Joe Fest, but it'll be recorded because we'll both be in Georgia at the time, just not at the same location. So we're going to record that, and then hopefully I'll be able to be on there when it's live, because it'll be a premiere, but I guess I just let that go too. Anyway, you guys can find them on Delta 17
toys.com.
Yeah, it's in the description. Okay.
Yeah.
But if you do Delta 17 toys, Google will figure it out. If you do Delta, you get Delta. You'll be flying somewhere. Right? You'll be flying to Georgia. You can just
I am taking Delta Airlines. Sorry, are you saying that I smacked my table by accident? Yeah, I did.
You look like you hurt yourself.
Yeah, I whacked my table by accident. I'll be flying Delta Airline, so it just happens.
There we go.
All right. Thank you guys. I enjoyed it. I appreciate it. I'm glad that we didn't just glad we're able to talk other than Delta 17 because I like getting to know you guys. And I
Oh
talk to you,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I have a blast getting off topic when it comes to anything.
No, that's the good. That's the fun stuff for sure. I
Hence
mean,
Monday Night Toy Ramblings, right?
Exactly.
You know?
And man, like 2 months into the show for Monday Night Toy Ramblings, somebody commented on watching the replay and said, "I'm 5 minutes in, and all this guy does is ramble." And it was like,
Isn't that
That's
what
the
it's
point.
called?
it
Yeah.
literally is in the name, so
Yeah.
you shouldn't be that surprised. But hey,
right.
what do I know? So, all right,
Right.
thank you guys very much. We're gonna get out of here. Ken, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me at Toy Connections and usually doing some history stuff. Because of the live stream, there won't be a pre-produced video this week. So you can just type Toy Connections in the search bar. It'll be there. It'll be there on Instagram as well. Technically, I have Twitter, but I don't use it that often. Otherwise, I'm helping Steve run a toy line of some sort.
Mhm.
And I'll be there at the booth at Joe Fest. And he'll have to wrangle me in because he knows I'm going to go trying to search the floors for some stuff to buy. And he'll be like, Ken, back here. Got to work the credit card machine, but all right, sorry. You know,
Yeah.
that's how it
Steve,
is.
when I see him on the floor, I will just bring him back for you.
Yeah. Just
How
grab
about
him by
that?
the collar and yeah. Be
I
like
was
that.
I was pretty rough on the Sunday last year. So
I'll
you know.
give you the truancy officer sash, right?
Yeah.
Steve, where can they find you anywhere?
Well, delta17toys.com. And then we're on Facebook and Instagram, Delta17 Toys. We have a Twitter account. We never really post to there, unfortunately. I don't know.
I'd like to apologize to all my Twitter, anyone that follows me on Twitter or asks me. I don't know how to respond. All right. I hate
Yeah.
or X or whatever you want to call it. I can't figure it out. I'm like, I just want to respond to this comment. Just how do you do?
I know.
All right, I'm going to get out of here, but you guys can still see me tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Even on a holiday, I am doing a live stream because I have no life.
Yeah.
Guys, thank
I
you
doubt
very
that.
much. Had a wonderful time, and we will see you guys all soon.
All right.